CIM is a four-year Bachelor of Science degree that's offered at Chico State. It kind of covers all aspects of the concrete industry, from the raw materials to the actual building of structures, from anything from flat work to skyscrapers.
Obviously a huge focus in concrete. We do a lot of repair, decorative classes, and then we have other professors that teach a lot of management classes that are directly related to concrete.
We're going to learn the basics of batch plants and the basics of concrete in general, rather than a specific focus in a construction industry.
But also the professional parts as well, and how the industry works as a whole, between the engineers, the contractors, the materials companies, and the politics related to getting a job done the right way.
This is really an extraordinary program. It connects so many things that make this university special, including the ability to provide opportunities for our students to bring what they learn in the classroom to real-world experiences.
In the CIM program, students study everything from design, chemistry, mixed design for concrete, management, business, accounting, all of those academic type of endeavors that a student would normally do in the classroom, as well as hands-on projects in the lab that are translated into projects in the real world, such as research on Interstate 80 for pavement preservation with Caltrans, or evaluation of the German bunkers at Normandy Beach is another one of our projects.
Being a part of the Normandy project a couple years ago and some of the non-destructive testing that we performed out there, that was a great experience. I'll never forget that. But being able to come home, to California, especially, in the general area where I was born and raised, and work on something that's so historical for the area and throughout the nation was huge.
Going to Alcatraz was basically, we were looking at a lot of different types of concrete on the island that had deteriorated very severely just because of the weather and because of the salt water and how isolated the island is.
The job entailed keeping as much of the historical aspect of the concrete as possible.
And we are working to restore this amazing property, and of course it's so old and dilapidated. As we go in and patch, the most difficult thing is to make the new concrete look like the old so that it blends out in and it doesn't stand out as a patch.
Yeah, while we were on the island, obviously it's really old concrete, and honestly, when I went to Alcatraz this summer, I just thought it was a prison. I didn't think it was anything besides that. It's kind of what it's famous for. But when you get out there, you start to learn what the island is, what it has been, what its purpose has been in the past.
I was able to go to a historical site and do what I love and build something that was brand new in an old environment, where I was able to go in and learn about the history of really the West Coast.
One aspect of a project like Alcatraz, which the students have said repeatedly, is that although it's about repair, it's really about learning about concrete. If you can see what happens when it fails, new design will happen better. So this project is not just focusing our students in one direction. It's really about broadening their view of what they will be doing in their career.
When we arrived on Alcatraz, we initially thought the project would be to repair a staircase and preserve it. But really it turned into something bigger. We ended up starting a CIM summer field school that hopefully will follow for years to come.
But when we first got to the island, we weren't even sure what project we were going to be working on. So once we finally, about a week into it, we figured out our project.
So we looked at the so-called puppy stairs, which are about halfway up the island if you're going from the bottom to the top, where the cell house is, and it's a traversing staircase going up the hill. And that was kind of the main idea of what was going to be the project for the summer.
After about 2 weeks or so of looking and preparing scopes for this stairway and speaking with structural engineers and different professionals of the industry and of architectural designs, we decided, and they helped decide, that there was no way we would be able to finish this entire staircase within 3 months.
So we decided to focus on a smaller part of stairway right above the puppy stairs, which was in the garden.
We performed an initial evaluation and found out that we needed to replace the columns and the support beam and a couple of the stair treads, as well as the railing and the paneling supporting the railing and the pilasters on the outside of the railing. To do this, we started our demolition and went in until we found sound concrete and sufficient reinforcement.
We also took a look at the rec yard and decided to continue with that slab and tear that out and re-pour that. And we had an archaeologist come out, which was another great experience. And you know, he taught us how to, sweep off the top layer of dust and kind of learn the different layers of soil and how they tell a history in itself.
I'd probably have to say the archaeological dig was one of the high points for me of the summer. It really was amazing seeing this concrete that nobody has seen in 150 years.
Partnership with the National Park Service on Alcatraz really what allowed this to grow and happen naturally. We suggested things, the Park Service okayed them or had another suggestion, the students brought their knowledge and expertise, and the project just really developed to a really wonderful result by the end of the summer.
Between the maintenance guys and working with Jason, and then working with some of the rangers, they were extremely helpful, and they saw what we were trying to do, and it was a learning process on kind of everyone's part. I mean, we're students up there after all. We're taking what we're learning at school and we're applying it to a real world situation.
The National Park Service is allowing us to go out there, for future endeavors over the next, years and the summers for this field school to keep happening. So hopefully we'll be able to develop bigger projects with more people out there, and hopefully be able to open some more parts of the island for, tourists to come through and see.
And of course, the partnership of trust with the National Park Service. Their invitation to us to become part of this Alcatraz experience has led to an invitation to continue. In fact, they would probably like us to be there for 100 years. They have that much work to be done, but we're certainly committed to at least 5 more years with them.
I know that even the Park Service is surprised with all the guys that are out here working at Chico State, because they've been out here for 6 weeks and they can't wait to come out the next day. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience and a heck of an opportunity for not just for the students but for the faculty too.
What was so interesting about this project is that it incorporated so many different kind of realms of the concrete industry. Of course, we're doing a repair on old concrete, which in that facet right there is really interesting to me.
I'm curious to see what we can do with a larger group of students, and with the experiences that we had from this summer, kind of the know-how of the island itself and what techniques we can use, what materials work, just trying to figure out how large scale of a project we can take on with a group of students.
Now with the experience we have, I have no doubt that we could finish that puppy stair in a month, and it would look no different than it does now, except it would be structurally sound and able to use, and people wouldn't shake at the fact that they were walking up a staircase that's connected to a rock wall.
Being able to go to Alcatraz, I mean, it's a historic landmark, and being able to go out there and work with everybody involved at the island, it was probably one of the better experiences of my college life. So I hope that in the future, students will be able to go out there and experience what I experienced last summer.
It was really cool because the National Park Service, they really kind of made us a part of them. They really brought us in with open arms and stuff, and it was a really awesome feeling. I'd love to do it again, and looking back, I would not change a thing.
It's not just Chico State, it's not just the National Park Service. It really is a collaborative effort. I mean, there's so many groups involved in saving the island and preserving it. And to have Chico State be a part of it in CIM is huge. I mean, the fact that we are going to be a part of history and preserving that history is amazing.
Yes, it has a lot to do with the chemistry. It has a lot to do with the design. It has a lot to do with the architecture of the concrete industry. But it also has a lot to do with history and sociology and archaeology. It's the ability to connect those disciplines in a real-world applied experience. It's also a way in which partnerships are demonstrated. not only the partnerships among disciplines, but the partnerships between what this university is accomplishing through its faculty and with its students, with the industry.
As a professor in the classroom, there's a certain way that things happen for teaching and hands-on experience in the lab. But there's a particular joy that comes from watching your students implement those skills in the field where they're making the decisions. They are coming up with the scope of work. They're going to redo it 2 or 3 times until they get the result they like. And it's a very proud opportunity for me to get to participate in that.